Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photo Mechanic Quick Tip. Today we're going to cover the basics of metadata. I know it's an exciting topic. I know most people cringe and turn away when they hear that word. But it's so vital, and I hopefully here today will show you how to use it, how to automate some of the metadata, and so it can improve your workflow, improve your marketability, and so forth. And of course, dealing with the IPTC data, it helps with everything that we do. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump right in and get this process going. All right, so we'll run through a little slideshow here. Okay, what exactly is the metadata, right? And basically, that encompasses a very large amount, okay, of data in the system. Okay, just to cover the basics for some people, we all take photos, and what we don't realize is there's multiple layers inside that digital file. Okay, it's not just the picture information. The metadata inside that picture contains what camera shot, what lens was used, what f-stop, what day it was taken on, prices used. All these things are encompassed and embedded inside of the file so that wherever that file goes, all that information goes. And hopefully you can see now the importance of having that information filled out and in the photo itself. So why use it? That's the number one question, okay? Because a lot of people say, hey, I'm just a casual photographer. I'm not a pro. I don't need any protectional data or nothing. Well, the number one thing is you do need it, okay? The number one reason is copyright, okay? Using your IPTC data, you can put your copyright usage, what rights are reserved, which rights are allowed, and all that is embedded inside the image, so there's no clarification needed for legal matters. Okay, and you'd be surprised on how more often people get photos stolen, they get photo used by even the biggest companies in the world will be glad to turn around and take your neglected metadata information and go, hey, I can use this photo and I can make money with it. Now, I'm going to give you an old example. Now, this is a very old photo, and it's going back, but it's a very famous campaign for Anheuser-Busch. And you'll notice that Spuds MacKenzie, right there in the middle of the dog, was the star of the marketing campaign for Budweiser in that, it must have been a decade. Excuse me. So, why am I talking about Spuds MacKenzie? Well, because Spuds MacKenzie was an ordinary photographer just like you and me. And they turned around and they discovered this whole dog and everything and the concept for the thing from an image that was found. And they came up with the concept. They made millions of dollars. And the person that actually owned the dog and took the original photo, which launched everything, didn't have any metadata, so they just turned around and used it. There was no appeal, and because he didn't have any proper copyright inside of it, everything is empty. His battle was a lot more, and of course, the pockets of Anheuser-Busch are much deeper than his. And so it wound up being a very big legal battle that Anheuser-Busch was using his dog. And so that's one of the main reasons right there, is to protect yourself in legal matter. All right? So let's move on. Okay, so how to add metadata in. All right? The number one way is just to manually enter it in. You type it in manually for every single picture. But that's incredibly boring and time-consuming and the whole bit. Luckily, Photo Mechanic has tools that make automated inputs using snapshots, variables, code replacements. It automates a lot of the metadata input, so you don't have to do all that work, okay? And I'm going to show you through that today, how easy some of this is to do. Okay, one of the first things that people get is not every one of us are ex-programmers and so forth, right? So understanding the concepts is very important. So basically, one of the most powerful things in photo mechanic are variables. And I know most people just have rolled their eyes and go, I don't know, what the heck's a variable? Okay? A variable is a thing that was invented back in the programming days, for almost every programming language out there utilizes variables in some type of manner. And it's just a simple way to make a symbol, okay? And like in this case example, X is the symbol, and then assign it a certain arbitrary value so that we could retrieve that value within the application, all right? So that sounds very complicated, but it's really not. It's just simply stating we can use variables to recall certain values, okay? All right. So here's an example of photo mechanic. Photo mechanic has hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of variables already built into it for you to use. Okay, one of the variables is year 4. Okay, that's a variable name. And what do you think it retrieves? It retrieves the year in 4 digits. And in this case, with time of making this video, it's 2023. So whenever I use the variable year 4, that's going to get replaced and put the value of 2023. So you can see already that there's a great value to utilizing variables. And photo mechanic is one of the only ones that utilize variables. Not Lightroom, not Photoshop, not any of them use variables in their systems. And so this is a real powerhouse feature. Okay, bonus tip. Entering in, right? I told you we're going to be entering in copyright symbols, right? And copyright information and usage rights and all that stuff. Well, it's real. We all seen the copyright symbol with the C, with the circle around it. Well, if you don't know how to ever input that and you want to manually type that in, if you're on a Mac, just hold the Option plus G and it will generate a copyright symbol for you automatically. If you're on a PC, you're going to use Alt 0169. Now, there's a cat cave to the PC world. The PC world, you got to have a keyboard with a side keypad, okay? And then you could type it in there, okay? For some reason, that's the only way it works on the PC. But minor discussion there. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in here now. Let's get into PhotoEd, get some good information, and we'll go through here. Okay, so first things first is the IPC data. So I'm going to take this first photo here, and I'm going to bring up the eye. And we have an IPTC information panel, and it's all empty. Okay, well, this is the information that's stored within this particular photograph. Remember I told you every photograph has all this stuff embedded? Well, this is the information that's embedded. And if I scroll down, you can see that, boy, we could really embed a lot of information inside the average photo. Okay? And that's real important. Okay? Because a lot of times, especially with being online and everything being digital, people will find a photo and they look at it and, it's free for me to use, have that. And they don't know who shot the photo. They don't know who owns the photo. They don't know if it's copyrighted or not. Maybe it's public domain. And they just all make that assumption today that, hey, if it's free, it's for me, right? So here's why we do this, all right? So I'm going to turn around and show you here. Now, I could type in, I'm just going to hit apply here. And you could look, I could type in copyright. There's the symbol I told you how to do. And 2023, blah, blah, blah. Now, this will work. I can come in and type all these values. I could type in that, Oh, I'm the creator, I'm the photograph, I'm the copyright. Here's my agreement. I could type all this in. Okay, I'm designating that all rights are reserved. There's no usage without permission. All this stuff. This is great, right? But I don't want to type this in every time there's a photo. Okay, so Photo Mechanic lets us use variables and templates and snapshots to automate a lot of this. Like you just saw me did. I didn't type any of this, but all this information got filled in because I used a predefined template. So let me show you here. So I want to just start off here with this top section. Copyright 2023. All right. So just keep that in your memory banks. All right. No. Okay. So if I go up to Tools, let's see here, under Images, I can go to Meta IPTC Template. And you'll see in here, it's a little different than what I just had up. But you'll notice the section that says copyright, the copyright symbol, and then look at that. It's using a variable year 4. And so wherever it sees a variable name, which is encased around with curly brackets, that tells Photo Mechanic it's a variable name, and it replaces that value with the appropriate value, in this case, the year 4 date. And it does it for down here, under the copyright, under the description, under the caption. Here's another variable that's used. The headline is a variable, okay? And you say, whoa, this is getting really complicated. It's not, okay? We're just going to say, hey, here's a button here that says variables. We can open that up, and now we're provided with a list of every variable within Photo Mechanic. And we could be scrolling for days, okay? And you don't worry, you don't have to memorize them, okay? If you want to learn something about one, you can just simply go down to the list and then click on the one that you want to learn more about. So let's go find that year one year 4, okay, that I was utilizing. There's the year 4. And I click on it, and you'll notice up top, it tells me that's the capture year in 4 digits, according to the camera and the file creation. So in other words, it's not going to put the current year in. It's going to put the year that the photo was taken. All right? Makes sense, right? Because the minute the picture was snapped, your copyright existed, right? It's at the time of capture. So that's why I use that to replace my copyright information. So will it replace with 2024 if it was taken then? If 2023, and so forth and so on. All right? So these are all the variables. You can go through here. You don't need to learn them all at once. You ease into it, right? But there's just so many things that you can recall and utilize within the program, okay? So, all right, so here we deal with that. It's going to put the capture year as a copyright, all right? So I'm going to close the template up here. And I want you to come in here and now go to the photo. And I'm going to say apply that template here. And it says 2023. Okay. So cool. I'm going to cancel that. And I'm going to pick this one. And I'm going to go there. And that says 2023. Okay. This one's empty. 2023. See, it automatically gets filled out for me. All right. So now you can hopefully see the importance of variables and how they get used. And you can get really, really advanced about using variables. All right. So the next thing about templates, snapshots, and variables is we have a thing that's unique to Photo Mechanic called code replacement. All right. So code replacement is the ability to fill out some of this stuff without me having to sit there and type out long sentences. Okay? So basically, if I had the roster of this game ahead of time, I could turn around and then use that information to, who's this guy? Who's this 26? I don't know. So if I open this up larger, I see player 26, 44. I don't know who they are. I shot this a long time ago. I forget who the players were, and the rosters change. Okay? But luckily, online, okay, we have the ability to download rosters. You can go to code replacements and so forth, and you can download rosters, okay, just by going into a Google, and I'll type a new window, and I'll just let's say I want to get a code replacement, or how about this, just roster. I'll pick a high school here, Azle High School, and football roster. All right. Hit that, and lo and behold, this is just a local thing. And here I can get the roster for it's a high school game, so it doesn't have to be pro or regional or anything else like that. You can get rosters for just about any sport, for any of that, and they're updated amazingly well. Okay, so I have the rosters, the numbers, what positions, what they do, and I can download this roster, okay, and then input it into Photo Mechanic, okay? So online, all available for you. All right, so what does that look like? Okay, so I download a roster, and you can use any text editor, okay? And here's the inside looking of a high school replacement for Azle High School. And I have the code AZ1 for the first player, and AZ2 and AZ3 and so forth. That just signifies their jersey number. So if I wanted to turn around and look up the person here celebrating in the end zone, number 26. So if I come right here and there's number 26, it tells me who that player is and what team they're on. So easy to use, okay? And it's totally automated within Photo Mechanic. So if I wanted to turn around and use that file that I downloaded, I could just come down and settings, and then set code replacements, and that file that I downloaded, and then Photo Mechanic will go ahead and use it. And you could have multiple files, okay? You could have files for soccer games and football games and et cetera, okay? So very versatile. Let me show you how it works, all right? So I'm in this photo, and I go, okay, I want to fill this out. But I don't know anything. So let me put my basic template on it. Here's my basic template. And that just basically tells all my usage rights and copyright and so forth. But I want more I want more information here about this, because maybe I want to sell this to the local newspaper, or maybe the high school wants to pay for it. So I got to talk about what this photo is. Okay. So first thing I want to do is, who is it? It's 26. So I'm going to use the equal sign. That's a special symbol in Photo Mechanic. And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to type in AZ. Remember that code in the file? AZ, and he is number 26. Okay, and then I'm going to hit equal to close it out. And look at that. It saved me all that typing. That this is Jesse Mova of the Azle Hornets. Okay. And then I go, well, I even have more. I could go equal. And now I have even information. That's a celebratory code. So performs the game-winning end zone celebration, scoring the final winning goal. Okay? Boom. And I can turn around and do that. Now, this is what code replacement does. It saves you typing. Now, you got to imagine, you got 100 players, 200 players on each side, or whatever the case may be. you got to know who they are, where they are, how to spell their name. And these shortcut code replacements sure do save a lot of time. Now, you may not be a football photographer or anything else like this, but you can even use code replacements for everyday photos. And you could just use your imagination to make codes, okay? Now, the files itself, all right, is nothing more than a text file, right? You can use any editor, okay? It's just a code followed by a tab and then what the value is, all right? So in this case, AZ10, cache more of Azle Hornets. So whenever we use AC10, it's going to get replaced with cache more of Azle Hornets. And you can make all kinds of these code lookups. Okay? So very, very powerful and really great. It comes in so handy, and I use it for everything, everywhere. Okay, so let's see here. What else did we have here? I want to make sure I don't miss anything for you. Okay, we showed the code replacements, the lookups, the variables. All right, so hopefully you're getting the idea of what this is about, okay? And let me see here. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything. And let's see here. Code replacements. Okay, we did the snapshots, we did the variables, we did the code replacements. Okay, we did the copyright information, and we showed you how to use variables. So everything is perfect. All right, so there you go. We've covered the basics of metadata within Photo Mechanic, and I'm just touching the surface. Okay, please bear in mind, if we were to do a deep dive in everything that you could do with metadata inside of Photo Mechanic, we'd be here all day, literally. I mean, because it's a lot to cover, but hopefully you're getting an idea how it works. All right, so get in here, play, learn about snapshots, learn about variables, play with them, get comfortable with them, learn about code replacements, another valuable tool. Okay, so hopefully this will get you enticed enough to start using it. And not to mention, when you do all this, all your photos are searchable. Okay, and when somebody finds your photo online or whatever, you upload it to an online service. The person that gets your photo says, "Hey, wonder who took this," and then it'll look it up and say, "Hey, Len Erickson shot this. I want to license that from him." And then because all that information is embedded inside the photo, they know how to contact me. They know where to get what rights they can use and how to contact if they do want to purchase it. Okay? So all contained within the photo itself. All right, guys. I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything. Hopefully you found this useful. Till next week, you guys take care.